The bed frame was in a nook in the wall, and it was so tall there were steps leading up to it. The room had been fitted with 2 hot plates, an electric kettle, an antique-looking toaster, a radio, a small variety of pots and pans and tins which said sugar, coffee, and tea on them, but on closer inspection were empty. It was clear the landlady intended me to cook in my room rather than in the kitchen. I asked about a fridge or freezer. "We don't normally refrigerate eggs and such things," she said, then pointed to the windowsill. "But that will do for milk. It is quite cold here, even in summer." After she left me to unpack my things, I realized there was a chamber pot in the room. I did not know if it was for decoration or my use. She did not show me where the bathroom was, but I found one down the hall from my room that seemed little used. There was black mold on the walls, a clawfoot tub stained with rust, and a vase of dried roses beside the sink. The window was misted glass, and there was a very ancient newspaper by the toilet. I did not know if it was meant for wiping or to read, but I took it to my room to read and made my way to find toilet paper at a nearby shop. The window display of the only shop I found was wholly comprised of cuts of raw red meat, as if the meat were the tongue of the shop and the window was its mouth. Inside, I found potatoes, Brussels sprouts, small apples, eggs, white bread, bottles of milk, a larger variety of meat, lollipops, boiled sweets, the same brand of chocolate I had purchased at the train station which didn't melt in the mouth, and spices in jars with orange lids. There were shelves and shelves of sweets called milk chews, which came in white wrappers with a cow on. There were many of the same toy, a stuffed green wingless dragon or dinosaur with a long tail, and dolls with straw-blonde hair holding small national flags. These, too, were wrapped in plastic. I was a vegetarian, as most people were in my country, so I avoided the cuts of meat. I bought apples, potatoes, eggs, and a jar of peppercorns, along with a packet of coffee powder and some of the milk chews, out of curiosity. I had read that the inhabitants of the island only traded with one South Asian country, which led to their reliance on turmeric, pepper, curry powder, tea, and coffee. It was a country they had once pillaged and claimed to own, and I suppose they had a certain violent pride in eating the spices from there. The coffee did not smell of coffee, and the eggs were rotten inside. At the guest house, I grabbed a pan and went to the bathroom to get water. It looked like there was a green olive stuck in the drain of the sink. I poured water from the tap on it to push it down, but it only quivered. I touched it. It was softer than an olive, and pressed on it. It quickly disappeared into the dark of the pipes. When I returned, I noticed a large porcelain jug in the room, filled with water. I suppose my landlady had filled it for me to prevent me from wandering to other parts of her house. I boiled the potatoes and ate them for supper with pepper. I found a copy of Beatrix Potter's The Tale of Mr. Jeremy Fisher in the room and read it after my meal. I'd given up on the newspaper I had found in the bathroom, as it only contained old royal gossip, recipes, and children's stories. There was no news of the outside world. I hadn't seen any newspapers in the shops. I had an apple and some milk chews for dessert. The milk chews were beige squares that were hard to chew. I couldn't finish one, and I took it out of my mouth, leaving it on my bedside table with the apple core. I brushed my teeth using the water from the bathtub drain. The next morning, I set out to find ruins. I was met at my lodgings by an old man who said he was an eminent historian. He wore a green jumper with brown stains on it, a grey blazer, and a sagging leather satchel.